Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah, we are live now. No countdown this evening, so I forgot to press live. But hey,
Good evening. You all right?
Yeah, I'm really good. What about you?
Yeah, really good. I'm just glad it's Friday. It's just such a busy week, and do look forward to our little Friday night chat. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
God, it's been a busy one. I know our WhatsApp group has been pinging all the last 2 days with reefing chat, and I just feel so far behind. I haven't managed to keep up. You can update me tonight.
Yeah, I will do. So Steve is due to join us at some point. Not too sure what time, but he said he was joining us. Ross can't join us. He sends his apologies. So it's just the two of us for a little bit, and then I'm sure Steve will join us in the nick of time.
Yeah,
we're in the middle of conversation. So I'll say hello to everyone in a minute. But so the WhatsApp group. So what we're talking about, I'm sure people have seen it, is Red Sea have launched an auto top off. It's a 3-in-1. So it's got an auto top off. It's got a heat probe. So I say temperature, but it's not a temperature controller. And it's also got a leak detector as well. It's all connected to the Reef Beat, I think it's called. I should know because I've got it on my phone.
Yeah,
and the really good thing is that the auto top off, if you've got a tank 170 and above, so not the nanos like us, you can unscrew the existing auto top off to the float valve, take that out, and you can push the probe through that gap so it fits nicely in the corner. So you can get, I think that's the version that's 170, and I think there's one where you can get some other fittings. So even if you don't have a Red Sea tank, or if you wanted to fit it on either of our tanks, you can get, I think it's a corner bracket or something like that. And it hooks over. I'm not too sure exactly how it fits on. But we was talking about it. Because obviously Steve's had problems with his Tunzi.
Yeah.
It's got 2 sensors in it. One when it's too high, one when it's too low.
Right.
Not too high. So it's about 3 millimeters apart. So when it goes below the lower of the sensors, it will fill water, and then it fill it up to that 3 millimeters, and that's when it stops. There's also some sensors above and below, but I can't remember whether then that provides you additional alerts. And also somehow through the software, it gauges how much you've used, so you can see how much you're using in 24 hours. Because of course, when I was speaking to Steve about it, when you're using calc, if you want to know what your auto top off's doing, then it's good for that, just so you know how much.
Hard to measure, isn't it? Like, you don't really think about that, do you? But you don't. It's harder to measure just on a standard ATO like my tank underneath.
Yeah,
you have to kind of, I don't know, calculate. Put a line one day and then exactly 24 hours later put another line and then try and calculate the volume. But it's a faff and it's not going to be accurate. Whereas that does sound a bit more.
Yeah, mine usually lasts about 2 days.
Yeah.
So that's on average. So I know that because it's such a small. So that's about I think it holds 2 liters. So my tank is about 1 liter a day on that one. In terms of the other two, I'm not too sure because I don't really watch it that closely. But obviously, that one I have to, because after 2 days, it's
otherwise you get a salinity swing, won't you? Can I just ask a few questions? Because I've not actually seen any of it. I haven't even seen a picture of it.
Yeah.
So you said it comes with a temperature, like a probe, a thermometer.
Well, I'm not too sure if it's I'm not sure if it's a separate probe. Certainly, it's got a heat temperature. I don't know if that's built into the auto top off probe or whether there's a separate one. I haven't done that much digging, but certainly within it, it will tell you the temperature. It won't control the temperature, but it will tell you the temperature.
A separate heat bar connects into it then.
Yeah, so you within either the auto top up sensor that's in there. So I don't know if it's built into that or whether there's a separate probe, because I haven't looked in. I've forgotten whether it's built into that or not. And then you've got a leak detector, which obviously does go outside, and you can, and it looks like a really tidy piece of kit, and you just clip that to the bottom of your cabinet. So of course, if you get any leaks, then you'll get an alert. So the good thing is, someone's saying that the temp gauge is built into the auto top off sensor. So that's really good. You've got kind of a 2-in-1 within that. So
that's smart, but that's not surprising for Red Sea, really. Their products are really well designed, aren't they, generally? So.
We was talking about that last night. If you have a look at it, they've got most bases covered off now. Obviously, you've got the tank. You got your lights, your auto top off now. You've got your skimmer, your reef mat. Do they do a return pump? I can't remember if they do a return pump.
Not that I know of, but
They do. So I think other than if they don't do a return pump, the only thing that's missing that you could say without having everything from Red Sea, and of course then they do all the supplements as well, don't they? Do dose, and then they do.
Obviously ours comes with it is stamped Red Sea, our return pump, isn't it? But I don't know. I think it might be something like another brand, obviously, that they've marketed as their own. I don't know. Our return pump here does say Red Sea on them. If you get them out.
Yeah. I suppose that's on that. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, someone said that's right. Return pump came out at the same time as a skimmer. That's right. Because you can connect it all together, can't you?
Yeah. It's good. That's what people want. I mean, some people like to have the whole, the same brand that runs throughout the tank, just because they feel that it's all going to match and work and in balance as well, doesn't it? I think it sounds like a good piece of kit. How much is it costing?
I think from what I've seen, it's 170 ish and 190. I think the difference between the two, which obviously is 20 quid, I think, and someone will correct me on this one, you get if it's a bracket or you get some additional fittings. So if you fit it with an existing Red Sea tank, like a 170 upwards, as I said earlier, you can just put the probe, you can unscrew the existing float valve and put it in there. If not, you need the additional fitting, I think. And by the looks of it, whereas obviously they've teamed up on the return pump with a different company, this looks like it's not a copycat. If you look at the way the probe is and everything else, it looks like slightly different technology. I don't know the pump. The pump could be C-Chat or something else, or it could be their own, obviously. But if you look at the sensor and everything else, it does look it looks different, and it looks like they've used their own R&D rather than a straight copy.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, obviously with an Apex, you can get an auto top off, you can get your heat probe, and you can get your leak test as well. But all those are 3 separate buys.
Yeah. So you're kind of saving in this. I was just wondering if you had screen share, so you could put it on the screen.
Let me.
3 in 1.
I will try and find it and put it on.
It'd be good to see. I've got it here, but it's not. Obviously, it's on the phone, isn't it? So it doesn't look quite as good, does it? That's the thing.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Oh, it does look quite sophisticated. Now I can see what it's.
Oh, there we go. Right, I've got a picture of it.
Yeah.
Now, the trick is, can I share?
Screen share or something. You got present there, haven't you, at the bottom? Is that you do it?
I've got to find the window first.
You've got to make sure nothing else is on your screen.
No, it's the only thing that's open. Thank you for that.
Otherwise, everybody will be like, oh, no, I'm important. I didn't realize.
We'll leave that one at the door. Right.
Corals, obviously.
Is that it? Oh, this might be it. Now, can
yes.
Oh, there we go. Right, let's take the comment off.
Another level whilst the boys are away here. Look, this is good.
Right. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously you got the pump on the left-hand side. If you look between the pump and the sensor, just in that middle chamber, the small one, I think that's the leak detector.
Well, I detest leaks as well.
Yeah, so. Lie detector. That is. That's, you get that for free. And then you can see on the probe, you've got. Looks like, I don't know if it's magnetic. You've got a holder for it. So if you have that.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, you just joined. Look at the technology. I'm sharing my screen.
Hey, Steve,
I don't pay any extra money for that.
We've got a new level going on here now. This is so professional.
We're just talking about what we was talking about the other day, which was the 3-in-1 Reef Auto top off. I know your view. We'll come to you in a minute. I'm just trying to understand it myself. So yeah, you got a holder there, and I think that's what you pay the extra money for. Steve will obviously tell me if I'm wrong. So that's what you're paying the extra 20 quid for. And if not, then you obviously just unscrew the existing.
Can I ask another question? In that setup there, where do you put your heat bar? Because you don't want it in the same chamber as the probe. So would you put? You don't want to put it in the ATO, obviously. So where would the temperature bar go?
It depends on your setup, isn't it? So
that's the issue. You don't want your thermometer, your heat bar next to your heat probe, do you? You're going to give a
no,
false
but
reading all the time.
you wouldn't put your heater. So if this would go in your return chamber, usually your auto top off would go in your return chamber because that's where your water level goes down. So you'd put that. So where the pump is, obviously that goes into your RO container. So say this was a sump. You've got your chamber on the right hand side. That's the chamber that's going down. So that's where you put your A2O, this sensor here. On the left hand side is where maybe your where your down chamber is, where your pipe comes in. You could put it in there, or you could put it in the next chamber. But I've never put my heater in the same chamber as my auto top off because it could dry out.
You're supposed to put them as far away. Well, not as far away, but the probe away from the heat bar, aren't you? Quite away.
Yeah. So my probe for this one is the little sensor. The DD controller is actually in the display right next to the where the water comes in. Yeah. And in fact, all the tanks, all 3 tanks, that little sensor is in the display tank. It's not in the sun.
Mine's in the display. Mine's in this corner here, my display. And then the heat bar's down this way. So there's a big distance between them. Because I want it to pick up any coldness in the tank, basically. So, yeah, it's the furthest point in the tank. But mine's actually in the tank, the probe is. You can't put that probe in the tank. Jesus, look at that.
No, the probe's on the right-hand side. The left-hand side is your pump.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, I can see the probe on the left. It's
but
that's not a probe that you can put in your display, is it? That's only a
sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You don't. So yes, but also it doesn't control the temperature. So if I had that, for example, that is an auto top off, and the heater's a bonus because then you get a message if the heat's something's wrong with the heat when you're out the house. But I'd still have the DD controller. Because with the DD controller, obviously it bleeds, but you don't know if something happened when you're outside the house. So you've got some redundancy there that if your heater blows, the temperature goes down, this will give you an alert on your phone. So I wouldn't use that as I wouldn't use that and have a separate heater that maybe is an E-Heim that has a temperature valve built in or thermostat built in. I would still have a DD controller. I don't know. What do you think, Steve, about the whole thing and how would you set it up?
You still need something else, don't you? That's what you're saying now, which is a bit of a problem, really, because it doesn't tell the heat to heat up, does it? Which is a bit of an issue to me.
But it's like Stu's put at the very bottom. He said it won't be controlling your heat, or it's just a thermometer. It's not. It's not. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'll give you an heads up. I pre-ordered one, so we'll see. We'll see, mate. They're not out till spring, are they? So it is what it is.
They're taking pre-order, right? Okay.
No. Yeah, pre-orders, but yeah, I've done away. I'm gonna send that other one off. I've been speaking to the guy from Tumsey. Basically, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a new sensor for it, and I'm gonna. He said he wants me to send it off. He said, look. So in fact, I'm quite annoyed, to be fair. The thing is shocking, with him, which I'm not very happy about. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna send it off. I'm gonna get a new sensor. And then I'm just going to either save it or sell it, or if I get another tank, a flag tank of some time, then I'll put it on that. But I won't be. That's about it with that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to, for the time being, I'm going to persevere with it, hopefully. And then when this comes out, this bad boy, get it up and running, mate. Get it up and running.
I wonder why they haven't built an opportunity to plug in a heater into that unit. So you could buy 100 watt.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I know
what you're saying. You have a tank at the top. You connect. So where that box is in the top right hand corner, that is actually a controller, and then somehow you plug your
you can scale your heater up depending on the tank
into something, and then it controls it.
You know what? Yeah. It would have surprised me over time that if Red Sea do a heat off, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that you will do a heat off.
And then build it into this, because then you've got your own.
Build it into it. Yeah.
You can imagine plugging this into that, and the heater runs off the same power as this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So therefore, you don't need another plug. And then it's just a case of whether you have a digital reading on here or whether it's purely you go on your phone. You may not have a physical thing to look at because it's all on your phone, which is the same as Apex, isn't it? Because on your Apex, you can have the display with your temperature, but most people don't. You just have to look on your phone on Fusion
absolutely.
For that.
No,
so you could
totally,
have a Gen 2
totally get it.
Yeah, so you could have a different version. It's a bit more complicated because of the
Like
power
you said,
that's going through it, but yeah.
Like you said, everything is all one plug. You know what I mean? The amount of limited space we have with plugs, it's crazy. Yeah, obviously, and plus, not only that, you're going to be saving on wattage with your electricity as well because you're only using the one. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a win-win situation. There, you're getting basically like free. You'll be getting like 3 in 1. You know, in a sense, because you're getting a leak detector, you're getting a return pump, you're getting a return pump. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So in theory, I think it'll look fantastic. And the good thing, the selling point for me was, when I read up on it, that pump fits into a 25-litre jerry can as well. So it's perfect.
So it's really then slim, isn't it?
So it's slim. So that to me, is like, right. Well, it doesn't mean that I need to get a bigger container and shove it in. I can get it right into the existing one that already goes in. So it's a win-win for me, mate. Do you know what I mean? And and not only that, though, the actual probe holder there where it goes, I've still got the original one in my tank. You know what I mean? In my
so you can put it in there. So it takes up no additional room, does it?
It's not going to take any additional room. It's just going to fit exactly like that picture shows there. It's going to be exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's a massive difference. And it's space-wise, it's going to say perfect. You know what I mean? I don't need to buy the extra, for the magnets. So I think it runs in. I think it's $199 without it. With all in with the magnets, and stuff like that. But I think it's $170 for the without the magnets. So basically like that what you see, where it's in the older style holder. So you know what, for me, that's the one, and that's the one that I've gone with. Haley Crack and Coddles, they've got them on pre-order, so that's the one I'm gone for, mate. You know what I mean? It's for me, it's I mean, the good thing that I like with it, is it's not an optical sensor. It's not an optical sensor. They like prongs, aren't they? You know on them, which I think in my eyes should be better. You know what I mean? Because you've got 2 prongs at the bottom, which means it's low. You've got you've got the middle one, and then you've got 2 prongs in the middle, and then you've got another 2, which is the top. Where can it possibly go wrong in that sense? You know what I mean? It's going to be detecting, surely. It cannot. I mean, unless something climbs on it or something, maybe a snail or I don't know. I really don't know until you try it. You know what I mean? But
is if algae grows on it. Now, the only way algae can really grow on it is if you've got a refugium, because you'd have a light. Because ordinarily you won't have any light in the sump.
Yeah.
So therefore, you could get some gunk on it, couldn't you? So you could get some to try to stack, but it's in your last chamber. So in theory, it should have all been out from your roller filter or your socks and the different chambers and your sponge and everything else. So the water in theory should have been clean by the time it gets to your return chamber. Although your return chamber still gets a bit gunky, doesn't it? From what I find anyway. From time to time,
for sure.
On the setup and that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the comments that like Irish guy said, trust the Tunzi or the Red Sea. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend, you can come down to my house at any time of the day, and you try and have a look at my Tunzi, because trust me, mate, I will send you pictures, I will send you videos of it. I've actually took the Tunzi, stuck it completely under the water, near enough where the actual second, the float switch goes up and it should shut it off, I've stuck it in where it's about maybe 5 mil away from the end of that, and it's still putting water in to the tank, even though it should be completely shut off. Like how? What? Like it's just it's a wrong sensor, mate. There's something wrong with the sensor. That's the bottom line of it.
I think you've got an issue with yours, definitely. I mean, I've had mine for years, and I haven't seen anyone that's had a faulty Tunzi one before. But it happens. Doesn't it?
Let me ask you a question, When that water level hits the actual tip, of the sensor, should that cut off then?
Yes.
Right. Well, it doesn't.
What?
It doesn't.
Well, you mean on the Tunzi? So the Tunzi's got
on the Tunzi, the actual it's like a diamond on the end of it.
Mine's not like that, but
yeah. So you've got.
It's like a diamond. I'm trying to think.
You've got a float switch,
Mine's
and underneath you've got the sensor. And also, it's got a cut-off built in so that he can't put too much RO in. I'm just trying to think. So yes, you've got two sensors to it.
So and then you've got the third fail-safe, which is on the back, where if it runs for a certain amount of time, it shuts off. Yeah. You've got the float switch. Which is an auto shut off. So that takes it to the red. That's when it goes. But that's when it sends the audible alarm. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Well, I've had it just below where the audible alarm is. Yeah. And the sensor is completely submerged in the water. This is the optical sensor, yeah. So in theory, it should say it's level. Correct me if I'm wrong, yeah. Well, it doesn't. It keeps on filling the water into the tank until it hits the float switch, and the float switch then turns on. By that time, I've got to unplug it actually from the actual box to stop it. Basically, shutting the plug off.
Why don't you put your float switch lower down then, and it stops earlier?
Mate, it's just an absolute night. But honest to God, I swear to God, I've had so much bad luck with some equipment. It's just like uncanny. I mean, I think it's just in a way, I think, because like, I think, how could I put it? I've had a bit of good luck with my corals and my tank, yeah. But with equipment, mate, I swear to God, I'm just jinxed on it. I mean, and at the end of the day, yeah, it's just come to the point where I thought, you know what, I'm going to send this. And bear in mind, yeah, let me. I hope somebody's watching from there anyway. From Sons, I'd love it if there was. Let me say, yeah, this is a 2 year. It's under 2 year warranty. This, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, 2 year warranty, right? Guess what I've got to do? I've got to go to the post office to send it off myself, using my own money to send it off. Yeah, and then he's gonna test it, and if it comes back faulty, he's gonna send me a new one out. But he's got to test it and all that. And hold on a minute, I should have to be doing that in a way. Yeah, it's under warranty. I should just go to the shop and say, listen, this is broke. I want a new one. But no, I've got to do it. I've got to go through all that. So in that meantime, yeah. Might take a week, 2 weeks, yeah, for him to test it. I'm going to be out without an EO in my tank for 2 weeks or a week and a half for as long as it takes, you know. So I'm putting myself out by doing that for him. You know? And I'm sorry, mate. Mate, shocking. And I've sent an email, so we'll see where we get from there, because I'm not happy with it at all. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that. The guy should say, listen, I'll say, yeah, no problem. We'll send you a thing. We'll send it off. We'll send you one, and then we'll sort this one out. That's what he should do, mate, so they can replace it straight away. Why would I lie? Why would I lie about something? Yeah, and mess about. I'll go to all this trouble of messing about. If it works, you know what I mean?
Do you know what I think the problem is, Steve?
I don't understand.
I think the issue is water changes. all your keys failing because you don't.
You know what?
What do you think, Jay? Jay, what do you think?
I think so. He's trying to pull all the crap through his tank all the time. It's just clogged up. The reason why the guy is hesitant, right? He's never had a complaint since the company opened. Like, none of them have broke.
There's that as
managed to break the first ever ATO by Tuesday. I'm sure of it.
Do you actually think I'm the only person that doesn't do watching? Could probably be right, mate. You never know.
They don't break. They're like bulletproof.
Maybe my tank's water is too dirty. I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what I have been doing all that. Yeah, I was cleaning this. There's a future video coming up on my channel. Yeah, and I'm gonna pre-warn you now, right? The skimmer. It's my own fault, yeah. 7 months I haven't cleaned my skimmer out. 7 months I haven't cleaned my skimmer out, yeah. All I've done is just drain it, drain the sludge, because it's on the Red Sea skimmers. It's just got the drain pipe on it, yeah. So I just drained it into a bottle and emptied it, yeah. That's all I've done. But I've actually not got in the cup and I cleaned it, yeah. I know what I'm going to say, yeah. You're out of the blah blah, yeah. But you know what? I tell you now, not this video coming up on Sunday, the video after that, check it, yeah. But if you're having your dinner, your breakfast, or your tea, yeah, please just skip it past it, because I was shocked, and you know what? I had to give myself a slap and I give my head a wobble, because I was like, don't ever do this ever again, because this is just ridiculous, yeah. It's an absolutely shocking video in the sense of how not to clean your skimmer. That's what it is. But it's a good video, mate. Now it's spotless, so it's perfect.
Now, so on YouTube, has somebody got the channel Lazy Reefer? Has it already been taken? Was it? Or?
Yeah. Sorry, they got it. Yeah.
I'm going to say because you could fit quite well into that. I think, to be honest, you could have 7 months for a skimmer. Can you not smell it?
I would have possibly took. Mate, you can't smell it. No, seriously.
Really?
No, mate, seriously, you could not smell it. Even funny enough, I think it's, you know what, I think it's basically, it's like obviously all the poop and stuff like that, yeah, but I think because I've not got many fish in my tank, in all honesty, I've got a big load in fish. I've got smaller fish. The only bigger fish, really big fish I've got is the tank. That's the only really big fish I've got. Yeah.
The chromis.
Yeah, and the chromis, I suppose. But having said that, I've not got huge fish, which, you know, heavy loaded and bio-load. And then you've got the Clarice that takes a lot of stuff out, which is the main stuff that takes everything out, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then the skimmer is basically just as like a bypass in it. It just takes out anything extra, you know what I mean? But 7 months worth is beyond. Well, I'm not going to say 6 months worth is beyond the joke. Yeah. Please do not do that. Yeah, it's shocking and it's a terrible video, but you'll enjoy it. That's the main thing.
Enjoy it.
Right. So I'm just going to go through some comments. There's loads of comments in here relating to this piece of kit and a few bits of it. So Bob Kerr saying about the ATO won't work on the Max 500. Yeah, you're right, Bob, because obviously because you got that because the RO is behind the tank, isn't it? It fits into the back panel.
Yeah, it's fixed into the back panel.
You'd have to set up a different auto top off with a different canister. And of course, if this one's working like that, then why would you switch it? But yeah, I agree, it wouldn't work. And then Irish guy is saying wait for 6 months for it to be for it to start going wrong. Just look for wet floors. Wet floors, but you've got a leak detector, so that would help. And then you got Carl. Is that you in your? Have you been up all night and then the next day in that photo?
Oh my god! It looks like it's been kidding. That's the new haircut as well. It looks nice, man.
Oh yeah, the new haircut. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
A funny clip that was. That's a very funny. Brilliant. Hey Steve, as well. Look, this is what it's promising. Look, this is why you've bought it. Look,
smart, safe, quiet.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely,
quiet.
Mate. Absolutely.
Hey, one thing you can't say about the tons, isn't it? That.
I'll gladly pay 170, mate. If it's quiet, I'm not bothered. I'll tell you that now.
It's that tons is not quiet. That is a fact.
Oh,
yeah,
tons is the noisiest pump. It's the noisiest pump, mate, I have ever heard. I can have everything running in my tank, yeah, on full blast, even the wave makers and everything, yeah. I can have them on full blast, and it's still nowhere near the amount of sound.
Jay, there's a comment down. There's another comment down below that I've seen. I'm going to put up in a minute. That will carry him on as well. So yeah, it won't be a controller for your heater. It's just a thermostat.
Yeah, I reckon they need a Gen 2. Wait for the Gen 2.
That's what I said to Steve. You're going to get a Gen 1 or are you going to wait for Gen 2?
This is the thing of like manufacturers. They could do like the perfect product, but there's no point because you can't make as much money out of it. That's to some extent, you know, like the Gen 5 like that I've got, and the Gen 6 came out pretty soon after, didn't it? You know what I mean? If they put everything perfect to start with, then you never have to upgrade, do you? That's the point. So there's a deliberate design flaw with, well, not flaw, but emissions, as it were. So you can always say, you'll be getting the Gen 2 in a couple of years. There'll be a Gen 2 out.
Yeah, mate, it's possible, but you know what's good with this with Red Sea though, yeah, is, and we spoke about this. How with Paul is like in theory, yeah. Like Red Sea are bringing some good gear out, aren't they? You know, they've got some good. The R&D that goes into them, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody originally was going, oh, the lights were bad, or the lights weren't as good. Now everybody raves about the lights. You know, exactly. But not at the beginning. It wasn't. People were saying, "Oh no, the lights are not that good." Blah blah blah. Yeah, they're not as good as blah blah blah. Now people rave about the lights. People will go out and buy the lights. Yeah. Then there was, people were slagging off the reef mat, you know, the roller mat thing. Now all of a sudden they're fantastic. So at the end of the day, yeah, it is what it is. People are going to have their perceptions and their opinions on the equipment. But I look at it like this. I mean, that you know, the ATO is an essential thing, mate, because at the end of the day, if it, say for instance, it never put any water in my tank, yeah, I was the opposite. It put too much water in my tank, yeah. But say it didn't, it could burn your pump out on your return. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Remember, I'm dosing calquasol, so if there's only a bit of water in my sump, it could be dosing calquasol. Like, oh mate, no, this is not happening. Can't happen. This.
Yeah.
It's got to get sorted, and that's the way it's going to be. It's going to get sorted.
Can I ask? Is it an Israeli company? Because I'm sure I heard or read somewhere last week.
I think it is.
And I was like, I don't really know any other Israeli like transnational companies, especially. It's just
I don't know.
I just didn't expect it to come from Israel, but I don't know if anybody knows.
What about Mossad?
Who?
Mossad.
What?
That's their secret service. That's the equivalent of MI5 and
Mossad? That's in Manchester.
Mossad. I tell you what, I'm sorry, I just wasted that completely. Right, let's move on. So I like this one. So get a gadget to check a gadget to report a gadget. Yeah?
Yes.
You can call it redundancy. So it's either fleecing us because we need all these gadgets, or it's redundancy. And depending on where you sit on the gadget front, it'll either be OTT or it's a necessity, I would say.
As you know, Paul, Steve will never miss a gadget. He loves it. Look at him. He loves the gadget.
Look at he's
any gadget
about
that tank.
About a leak
it's
detector.
Like a spaceship, that tank that he's got. It's got so many gadgets on it.
Yeah. When you're old, Steve, you need a leak detector, but that's a different
game.
You
have a wet floor then when you're getting a bit old.
I've already got him on the tank. I've already got him on the tank. You've already got him on the tank. You know what? It's quite possible, that mate. It's quite possible, that.
Right, moving on. Yeah, you still need a DD controller.
That's where I don't get it. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm just like, why have two bits of kit? You know what I mean?
I know it's not that it's not made as a temperature, and I get it should be a temp controller.
Should
absolutely, and hopefully the Gen 2 would
change
do that.
The heat bars depending on the size of your tank.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks.
So Chris was saying he's going to get one.
Chris is going to get one.
Be interested to know how noisy the
pump is.
Chris. Well, I tell you what, once Steve gets his hands on it,
I'll let you know.
if it's noisy or not, on a Friday you'll find out on one of his videos for sure.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
There will be a video, I'm sure, about this thing.
Yeah, all runs off of one box. It will never fail. Irish guy, I get a feeling you're being a bit cynical towards it. Not feeling the love from you.
I think
and then you've got the link there.
Seen the kit before.
There you go. That's a good. Let Steve test it first.
I think we should do that with everything.
I'll bring you the main scoop of it for sure.
You bring it to the review, Steve. If it's any good, you like the Gen 6 lights, don't you? They were good. The reef mat you've loved, don't you?
Oh, mate. You know what? Gen 6. Listen.
What's the one bit of kit? What's your favourite bit of kit on your tank that you've got?
Oh, mate.
Because you've got a lot.
Mine is the DD controller. Mine's the DD controller because I think it's a really cheap piece of kit that controls your heater. I've got 3 of them, so every tank's got one on, and I think they're a really good piece of kit that's actually relatively cheap and for what it does. Especially when I have heaters. When I have heaters running 7 years, it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah,
that was mine.
I agree with that.
You agree as well?
No.
Are we all?
No. I agree with what Paul says. Yeah, for the price, what it is, spot on, mate. You can't argue with that. You know what I mean, for sure. But I mean, for me, it's got to be my lights. It's got to be those lights, mate. I absolutely. I know. I mean, I had the older, I had the older lights. That's like you said, it's like having a Ford Escort, yeah. It's like having a Ford Escort.
Now, if you had one of them.
Well, all right, then I'll rephrase it then. An older Skoda then, yes, for instance, yeah. And it's like going from that to, like, say, a BMW i5 or something, or, you know, like a step up, like, in class, mate. It's just, it's massive for me, mate. So great for my tank. And I've seen so much growth with the lights. It's crazy. So, for me, it's going to be my lights. Yeah,
mine was a DD controller, but Paul nicked it, and I can't think of a better bit of kit to that, so I can't. That's it.
I know. You've got to say your reef lights, mate. You've got to say your reef lights.
No, because they're quite expensive. Whereas that DD controller, it's what is it like 30, 40 pounds?
It must be about that.
But the question, Yeah, but the question wasn't.
And I can plug my fans in.
The question wasn't the cheapest bit of kit. The question wasn't the cheapest bit of kit. Yeah,
no, but
it says what's the best kit.
That have been the best kit. One category has to be like affordability, surely.
Yeah.
So
okay, so you should be 2 questions.
And it's never broke.
You know what I'm saying?
He's overcomplicating now, Steve.
And I can plug my fans in, which I love. You know that I've had a few of them.
Of course, yeah.
And
you like fans, yeah.
And simplicity, like the simplicity of it.
It's really easy. Yeah,
it's easy to use.
You know what? You try to sell me. It's like you try to sell me one of them, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah, I totally agree with you. I know I've already got to. I totally agree with you, mate. I totally agree with everything you said there. You know what I mean? For the price of what it is. For the price of what. Get out of there. Get in there. Sorry, guys.
Don't
talk to kids like that.
Don't talk to Jay like that. How rude. We're live.
My dog's trying to go in my bucket. I'm going to batter him. Sorry. There's any honest PCA people. It was all joking.
His leg on the line.
Yeah. No, my dog's walked in. I'm in the kitchen. He's walked in and tried to go to my bucket, mate.
Oh, I thought it was humping your leg.
Hey, no, my bucket over in the corner. He's trying to go to my bucket.
I'll get struck off. You can't say that.
Oh, yeah. It's not 9 o'clock yet. Calm down, Jake. Calm down, mate. It's not 9 o'clock yet.
Right, I'm going to move on with the comments. Let's try and move on. Well, that was a bit of a curveball there, but there we go. Right, back to sensors. It's the same sensor as a reef. Goes off the connectivity of salt water. Someone was saying about the same type of that as a reef mat. It's broke. Had the auto shut off, so another problem there. Right, there we go. Surely you don't rely much on ATO, Steve, as you're dosing calc. There we go. There's always a calc. How much are you dosing a day at the moment?
Oh, it's very true, yeah. I'm dosing 2 litres. I only dose 2 litres of the calc. Me total evaporation is around about 3 3/4 to 4 litres a day. So, yeah, granted, I totally get you. It's only 2 litres of water is going in my tank. However, that's only if the pump doesn't get stuck on the Tunza. If the pump gets stuck on the Tunza, then, like the other time, 7 litres got pumped into my tank. And it was like, what the hell? And it only shut off because of the float switch. That's the only reason it shut off. So yeah, I mean, usually 2 litres, but that's on dosing.
I don't get that, mate. Why don't you just put your float switch lower down so it shuts off earlier? I don't get what the issue is.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Yeah, because you can move it down and stuff.
Yeah, why don't you just move it down?
Because it's still not the point. Because when it hits that float switch and it goes on, the alarm goes on.
Yeah,
continuously.
The sensor goes off and it lights up too high.
And it goes too high. The water's too high. It says in the bit, and then you've got this audible alarm that's stupidly loud. Yeah. Now I won't be able to watch Emmerdale. I won't be able to watch Emmerdale Farm, mate. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
Not even on anymore.
I can't do that, Bob. You know what I mean? The good old Yorkshire, mate. Good old Yorkshire. Yeah, we'll be able to watch it.
Oh dear. Right, where are we? Have a Kamoa. See, I think Kamoa products are pretty good as well, having 2 or 3 different ones.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, mate.
Yeah. Cole's saying binny.
Yeah, it's quite possible, Carl. Don't worry.
Sensor.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. Totally agree.
Turns off for extra safety. Yeah,
and that's the one.
Wait, get ready for this one, Jay.
Oh no!
Hey,
remember that.
Listen,
we're not going.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything about. I'm not going to say about anything about that company, mate, because so far so good. That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, can't follow, mate. Can't follow.
Well, there's a very fair point here about less equipment, less stress. So I would say that with this tank. So I only run the skimmer every so often. I've got lights, temperature controller, return pump. I don't have a power head, although I suspect I probably do need a power head on that. I think that is it on that tank, and that's nothing compared to what I've got on the other tank. I think once you get a sump, there's always a tendency to put more kit in because you've got more room. Because you've got a lack of room. I mean, I could put other stuff on it, but You can't put that much more in the tank with this one.
Some bio balls, an ATO in there, and that's it. It's all you really need, isn't it? I do think we get a bit obsessed with the kit and stuff. You don't need all the kit.
I've even got the stock ATO on that one, which I'm okay for 2 days. But if I go away, someone has to top it up for me, or I'll have to fit one temporarily onto it. So that, no electricity, just a float valve, and touch wood. The float valve has been good so far.
It's not so much the kit, it's like it's the testing, isn't it? And the water changes, really. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then someone saying what the price is. Haley said it's 199. That's the one with the holder, and then it's 170 or 179 for without the holder.
What holder?
That's the
170.
170. So the 170 is without the holder. So therefore you can just.
No, 170. 170 is without the magnets, because you get magnets. Without the magnets, you get the magnets in the corner piece.
The holder, So, so if you just get the probe and you put it in potentially where your existing Red Sea float valve auto top up is at the moment. So you just unscrew it. If you see the video and you just poke it through and it fits. Whereas if you haven't got that, you need a magnetic holder, and that is what, 29 quid.
Yeah,
is what you're paying for. So there's 2 versions.
Until Aquaprint make one.
I tell you what.
Of course they will.
Yeah.
I'll speak to Johnny about. I mean, if Johnny hasn't seen it already,
they'll make it for £5 with a strong
because he makes them. He makes the magnets, doesn't he? Because he did for the Vortex and everything else.
He's got everything to do it. They'll be on that.
He'll do it. Johnny will do it. Absolutely.
And it'll need, the ATO, the pump.
All you need is a corner piece. You just need a triangle, like a corner piece with a hole in the middle of it. That's all you need, mate.
Well, you don't even need that. If you don't want to put it in the corner, you just need a magnet hole. You need the magnet with a holder there, and just put it through. So you haven't got to have it. You can have it in the corner.
Hey. You know what would be good? Because like obviously some really tight, like mine's really tight, in the corner, and stuff like that. And you won't be, and where it's so tight where the magnets can't get down there, down in the corner. Imagine they made that a triangular, like a triangular piece, the same shape as that, but with like say instead of the magnets, put like hooks, hooks that can hook over your tank. You know what I mean? That you can adjust it. That'd be perfect, mate. You know what I mean? You can adjust which level you want it at, your top off and stuff like that.
Aquaprint will be all over that sort of thing.
It'll be all over. You go over the acrylic,
And the pumps, they fall over, don't they? Obviously, I've got one for the Tunzi, like a 3D printer stand. That'll need one of those as well, basically. I don't know why they haven't tried, put like a little...
So you could do a Red Sea kit, couldn't you? The holder. And you could do an up and over, so you can flexibly move it up and down. So depending on where you want to put it.
Aquaprint, if you're watching, we'll have some royalties on that one. Thanks.
Absolutely. There you go. There's one there. Tell Tunzi you're an influencer now, Steve.
Mate, they won't care about me, mate. Yeah.
And there's one, Steve, does your bus break down often?
It actually does, to be quite honest. You've not seen our buses. You want to come down here, mate? Yeah, shocking buses, but it is what it is. We just get given another one.
First choice. First what? Something to your bus company?
First bus, yeah.
First bus.
First bus to break down.
First bus to break down, yeah.
I hope there's none of my managers watching on this live stream secretly in the back. You know what I'm saying? We're getting called in.
I watched it the other week when you were in the canteen doing it.
Oh, when he was in prison.
Yes, it looked like Broadmarsh.
He really was there for the weekend on a visit.
Yeah.
Hey, some days, mate, I actually feel like that. So believe me.
Oh dear. Right, there's a vote for your fish food video. Just left the LFS, bought 5 packs of frozen, but gonna take your recipe, Steve, once MB Reefing has finished up the frozen packs.
Trust me, mate.
That video just makes me laugh. It's like a cooking channel.
You won't go
I'm watching like the food channels on Sky. It's like chopping it all up, dicing it away. It is impressive, Steve.
Certainly was.
Appreciate that, mate.
comment there by PJ Goblin about a large footprint. It's hard to tell from that picture because you don't know if they've blown the parts up so you can see it, and it's a really small sump. So I don't know. I don't know if it says the dimensions of the probe or anything. If it fits in the existing the float switch, and it has to go through that hole because you unscrew it, don't you? You put it. That's not that big because the hole's probably no bigger than the size of what, 20 pence piece, maybe it's maybe slightly bigger. So that would suggest it's not that big if it's fitting in the existing fittings.
What's it like?
Well, that existing fitting, it only held the float switch. It only held the float switch.
So it goes through, and then you screw the
tiny bolt.
Yeah,
little tiny bolt. Yeah, it won't even be that, mate. I bet it'll be the size of a little bit bigger than a 5 pence piece, I reckon. I think that was, to be fair. Not that big. Not that big. I'll have a look, actually. Let me go and have a look. 1 minute. I'll tell you now.
I'll go through the comments while you're...
I've got another question as well. So what do you guys think about putting, like, you know, that digital monitor that's in there? Like, that's going to be sat above your sump, isn't it? In the sump area. Obviously, it's electrical. And, you know, not that it would fall off, but it might fall off and stuff like that. Like, I haven't got that issue in here because it's all in the back, and then my dose's on a different shelf to my ATO. So, like, I've got nothing where the water is.
It depends on your size of tank. So, if you get the Red Sea Reef for 170, then you're right. The 250 hasn't got a separate cabinet, but I think there's a space, a dry area to the right-hand side. I'm only saying about Red Sea because I've had a number of Red Sea tanks. The 350, which Steve's got, you've got a different you've got a dry cabinet, so you could put it in there. I had the 450, which is the 5 foot, and that had a dry area. So you usually find tanks of above 3 foot. So obviously I've got the DD 900. That's a 3 foot tank. That hasn't got a dry area, but there is an area that's probably about 4 inches to the left of the sump where you could put it there. But yeah, I wouldn't put anything. The only thing I had the DOS dosers above the sump. That's the only thing I had above the sump because I am so clumsy. I would knock something in. So everything I've got is in a dry area. But you're right. I would not like to do it. But I'm assuming it's been made with salt creep in mind.
Yeah. Do you have any electricals in your wet area, Steve, or is it all? You know, like you.
Wet.
So you know, in your wet area of your sump.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any like electrical units like that Red Sea one?
I have that one D&D, you know, the D&D pump, the single D&D pump that was pumping in the salt water. I remember when I first did it originally, when I was taking out the, for the KH keeper, and I was putting salt water back in when I was doing it. But I've not used that. That's switched off now. So it's not actually live. But that's the only one in the thing. I'm running out of space in my cabinet. I was like, what the hell? As you can see, I'm sticking things on the wall now. You know what I mean? So, which my missus is not happy about. But I don't, because of the moisture, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, the dampness,
the moisture.
Yeah.
Salt,
the humidity. Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're in there with your arms, like Paul said, and you might end up knocking something
off. Well, I would for sure. I'm so clumsy. Yeah. I'm so glad I have the cover because I've got the plugs above the tank in the garage. Yeah. I'm doing things and I'm dropping things, but fortunately it's bouncing off the net, so I'm all right. Otherwise, I'd be electrocuted by now.
In the garage.
Oh no! I wish I knew.
The garage.
You know. Yeah, if you drop anything in your tank, just hang it over the radiator in the garage, mate. You'll be fine.
I do. The towels sit on the radiator.
Radiators in the. Have you got
radiator in the garage?
In your garage.
Unbelievable.
Radiators in your.
I know, a garage. Yeah, garage. Yeah, You know.
That's where the butler lives as well.
On
the shaggy rug.
On the shaggy rug.
Right, I'm going to move on.
You got to put that picture. What I said, you got to do that picture. What I said, please.
At some point, I will do a video of the two of the games.
You got to, yeah. You got to. That would be funny.
Draft-proof garage that he's got. Unbelievable.
Oh dear. Right, moving on. Right, Cole saved me. There we go. He hasn't used an auto top off for 7 years. He does it manually. I've got to say, fair play to you.
Yeah.
Because I would forget. I'd have all kinds of problems. I think Cole also does his dosing manual as well. So I couldn't do that either. I know when I was dosing manually, it was going all over the shop. So fair play.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for that. No chance.
Yeah. Red Sea are getting there, but don't forget the leaks on the first tanks. Absolutely, they've had leaks before. I think Waterbox have had leaks.
Absolutely.
Even I've seen some custom tanks, and I've seen a couple of posts on Ultimate Reef, where for a company that is really good, got a really good reputation, and have had a couple of leaks on their tanks. So I don't think any company's probably without it. The only one I haven't seen is DD Reef Pros. But is that because there's so few Reef Pros out there compared to Red Sea? But yeah,
I do
absolutely.
like their cabinets on those D&D ones. I do think they look brilliant, don't they?
They are. And they're quite high as well. Yeah, absolutely. And they're ready made, as I said before.
Cabinets, to be fair, the ones I've seen, they do look like the nicest cabinets.
Yeah. And you got a comment there. Couldn't be without an ATO. Be forever blowing bubbles. Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Blowing bubbles
Totally
even when I forget to fill them up, and then he starts bleeping and you get bubbles.
Oh, I know. Tell me, mate.
Yeah. There you go. Monkey's tank's one of the best tanks I've ever seen. Yeah, AT doesn't work. No one to
appreciate that.
He is a master genius. I should have to go on a lottery.
That is very
yes.
Nice one, there's a lot of truth in that. Your tank is unreal.
So what does that say to you? What does that say to you? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't say I'm a genius. It says, have your tank water dirty. Don't have your ATO working. And everything, mate. That's all you got to say.
And have a graveyard at the back.
Have a great,
and a graveyard at the back. So you got, so it's a win-win, mate. Absolutely perfect.
What it does show is that tanks
appreciate that, Rich. Appreciate it.
Think, like swings and
absolutely, mate.
And it's quite resilient, the livestock generally, isn't it? When you have all these little things.
Yeah, I mean,
every tank has it.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, the only thing that a tank really won't be able to sustain is like massive swings in, like, say, salinity. Yeah. Temperature, massive swings in temperature swings. Yeah. Alkalinity. If your alkalinity goes from like 10 DKH to 7 to 9, those sort of things. Quick. Yeah, and quick. And in quick succession, those are the things that tanks can't sustain. Only like if you little tiny little things like your temperature going up over like 10 hours and that's irrelevant, mate. It's not going to do nothing to it. You know what I mean? Salinity 1.025 and then it goes to 1.024. Yeah, all right, no problem. You don't need to rush and like, let me do big changes and get the salinity up. Just leave it. Just let it. It'll go itself back up if you do water changes. If not like me, then I've just got to add a little bit of extra salt into the equation. But
I've had my tank down at alkalinity 5.4.
Yeah, you did it 1 point.
It wasn't a problem. All you got to do is just bring it up really gradually. If you then throw loads of alk in it and you take it straight back up to 8 or 9, that's when you're asking for trouble. But I've had it 5.4.
You'll strip him, mate, or kill him.
Because I forgot to fill up the alkalinity. It was still dosing, and then I tested and realised it was 5.4. But it must have taken at least a week probably to do that. So you're right. It's the quick swings. I've had tank go down to 19 degrees before because of the power cut and everything else. It's been fine. And you just bring it up gradually, and I didn't lose anything. And because it was the 450 litre, the temperature went down really, really slow over quite a few number of hours overnight. So it wasn't a problem. But again, what I did, the temperature, I brought it up really slowly because it's a 450 litres. It takes quite a bit of time to bring the temperature. So I brought it up gradually. I brought it up to 20. I think I brought it up to like 21. I set the 21, then I set it to 23. And I've done it over a period of time. But you're right. So there's a question here about the Red Sea refractometer. Now I use that, and I've been using it for a number of years. I calibrate it each time I use it. So how I calibrate is I just put RO in it to get it to 0. But you can get solutions and stuff like that, but I find
I've got the solution.
So I just use RO to bring it to you. Then I recalibrate it to 0. I do the 3 tanks, and then next time I do it, I put RO on it for the first time to get it to 0. Make sure it's at 0, and then I test the 3 tanks. So that's how I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but I took it to 0, and I know it's 0 because it's RO.
Yeah, because you should RO. Yeah. No, I have I've got the Red Sea one for sure. And to be honest, I do use it every so often. I don't use it all the time, but just to double check my Hannah checker, because I use the Hannah checker 9 times out of 10, yeah. But just to double check, even though I've calibrated the Hannah checker, yeah, I'll use the refractometer, yeah, just to see if it's right. You know what I mean? Because as you know, refractometers they're one of the most simplest of things to make, to manufacture in a way, yeah. But one of the most accurate. You know what I mean? If it's right, you know what I mean. If you're perfect or your solution is perfect, but I have I've got the the calibration fluid, so I just put that on it if ever I'm doing it. So it's simple, easy.
I must admit, I tend to do it now every time I do testing, but I don't test every week now. I kind of test every 2 to 3 weeks. And it's the first thing I do for each tank that I do the salinity, because then if your salinity's out, then the rest of your parameters, your measurements, is arguably they're not accurate. So I just decided to do that. It doesn't take too long, just in the routine of doing that. Not that I test as often as I should do. But hopefully economical reefer, that has helped. So just moving on. Yeah, we all love gadgets. And then reefing, I hate all gadgets.
Fair play. He does keep it simple with his tanks. I mean, he's had a few anti, but he keeps them simple, really. He doesn't have much kit on them.
Yeah.
Which is, there's a message in that as well. I know, like, if you're a new reefer, it can be quite daunting if you look at Steve's tank or anybody like that. You're just thinking, where do I start with that?
When you look at the sumps, absolutely, they're full of wires and everything else. You think, wow, do you really need all of those?
Yeah,
I'm not convinced.
I do think there's a bit of like bravado around sumps. You know, like when people have nice cars and then they lift the bonnet up and it's got all the, know, all the trim and the glitz and stuff.
Mate.
So if I went round Steve's house, it'd be like that. Bang, open the doors, look at them.
People come to my house, yeah, if they come around and see the tank and they're picking things up or whatever, yeah, and they go, and the first things they say, every one of them is saying, wow, your tank doesn't even, it looks totally different in person. That's what they say, yeah. And then when they open the front doors, they're like, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Listen,
is it not like that, yours?
Yeah, mate, mine is just I mean, that is one thing this year I need to do is my cable management. But I know it's probably maybe 2 days, to get it sorted, I reckon. You know what I mean? So the way I want it, and cable tied and all that, and the whole shebang and everything. So it's going to take me time to do it, because remember, you got to strip everything out, and feed it all through, then feed it all back, drill holes, put it on a board. It's going to be a long time. So it's going to be a bit of a long time to do that. I will do it this year. At some point, I will do it this year. You know what I mean? But I don't know when, but it will be done. It will be done.
So it looks like a Weatherspoon cellar, is it? With just empty barrels everywhere and mess. And...
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Pretty much.
I like this. Yeah. So go on.
Go on. No.
Yeah.
You go.
I
was just about to say, the Irish guy got a 20-year-old reef with metal halide lights, I'm assuming AH, and an under gravel filter, forcibly into the new world, but I pointed out to me.
Wow.
That's crazy, mate.
Do you know what? I respect that. That's pretty cool. That is cool.
I do. Yeah, I totally get that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And that's totally get it, mate. Totally get it.
So Irish guy, can I assume you're on Instagram and we can see your tank?
Yeah, we'd like to see it. That'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be great. That. Right.
I reckon Steve's got a thermometer probe, temperature probe that's about 20 years, haven't you? You've had one every year so far, so surely you've got some that's
no. I do need to get another temperature probe and a pH probe, but I'm not. I have to save up now. Got to save up now. Spend too much.
Got to save up for his auto top off in spring.
Yes, spend too much, mate.
So easy to do. And then Carl again. I hate all the stuff you think you need. Keep it simple. Do it by hand. Fair comment.
Yeah, totally get it. I mean, you know what? I get that. You know what? I get that in a point, to a certain point, But there comes a point where, like say Paul's tank behind him there, you could do that theoretically by hand, everything by hand, Water changes, dosing, a little bit of a dose, whatever, 2 mil, 3 mil every morning, boom, no problem. ATO, check the ATO, top it up, no problem whatsoever, Now, Then you go on to the different spectrum, like yours, Jay. A little bit more coral, a lot more corals, sorry. Yeah. Now you've got to dose more. You've got to add this into it. You've got to add that. Yeah. So then you got to get a dose of it because you can't do it all the time. Yeah. And then you get mine tank. Yeah. Where I'm dosing 300 mil at one point. Yeah. 300 mil of this, 350 mil of that, 350 mil of that.
You'd be there all day.
AB, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I wouldn't have a job. You know what I mean? I won't be able to go to work. So it comes to a point where, totally get it. You can do it by hand. Yeah. But for me, it's just, I couldn't. I'd forget something. You'd forget something. You know what I mean? What if you're not done?
But also, as well, what if you want to go away for a couple of days? I can leave my tank for 3 days, and it'll just go on autopilot.
Yeah,
and he'll be happy. He'll be absolutely happy. Whereas,
fair point.
You can't just leave it. If it's got, like you say, if you've got corals in there and leaving it 3 days, you're going to get slight swings, aren't you? Which you want to keep it stable, but. That's
totally get it.
That's what I'm thinking. Really, you can't leave it if you're doing loads of manual stuff.
Yeah, fair point.
No.
I remember these were the STC 1000. So you used to have to build these, and this was before the DD temperature controller. Because I remember I actually bought one that was already made. So it was a temperature controller that could run your fans and your heater and everything else. You buy the parts off of eBay, or you can buy them complete. But I must admit, as soon as the DD controller came along, I dumped mine because it was a bit bigger than the DD one. But I do remember that.
I want to see one. I'll see what it looks like.
No, I don't remember.
You still see the odd one around. And then Cole saying you're in a fighting mood there, Steve. So this was how long ago was this? How far am I behind? So that was about 20 minutes ago.
Calming down, mate. Calming down now. Calming down. That was the 20 minutes behind.
And then one, I purchased the G2 sump for £394 and didn't get the refugium wall included. And if you wanted it going to cost you £60, it's a joke. So I'm assuming that would be under the accessories when you have to buy the individual components, don't you? So it does. Wait there. Oh, hello, he's gone. He's got. Love a bit of Emmerdale Farm. I'll wait for him to come back.
Stefan, how's your? He's gone. He's got that gunny that I absolutely love. From
was it a mate? No, was it called Amazing?
Maze balls. Gunny?
Yeah.
Was it maze balls?
Yes, Stefan. Have you got the? If you
how's it looking, mate? I really want to know because I was so tempted to get that one. But it was 350 quid, and I didn't want to buy a coral that's 350 quid without seeing it in its flesh, as it were. What's it paying now?
There's a refugium wall. Yeah. If it's the same dimensions.
All right.
It's a 60 quid.
Refugium wall. That's a refugium wall. So that's what they say, £60 for that. I took mine out straight away. This thing.
So have you got a Gen 2 or have you got a Gen 1? Because I don't know.
Gen 1. That's what I just said.
That's Gen
so
1.
I don't know if it fit. Well, this is the Gen 1. This is the Gen 1. This is the refugium which went the baffle that went in between. So obviously you can have a refugium because you can have it. It was like three separate box, three sections. Yeah. So you can have one as a refugium, which I did run at the time. And yeah, I think it was because I had a crappy light, it did grow, but the light wasn't good. You know what I mean? We didn't have like the AI. You did have the AI's refugium lights, or the what do you call it lights? The
you get the Tunsy ones,
Ecotex and all that. All the Tunsies, yeah. Never had that. Well, this is what they mean. This is what they mean. That, for 60 quid, piece of glass with a bit of a baffle in it. It's crazy, mate. Yeah. If it fits, mate, no problem.
So probably you want to see the dimensions, don't you? Whether it's on a Gen 2, it's the same dimensions. Yeah, that's the thing. Just trying to find
sure, mate. I mean,
unless you could measure it for him. I don't know if you can measure it. I don't know if you've got a tape measure there. So.
Let me see.
Look, I'll put up Emmerdale Farm and he's walked away again. Oh, moving on.
He's a busy boy tonight, isn't he?
I know he is. He's jumping around. I think he's been on the Red Bull or something.
I think he's been on some sort of energy drink or something. I don't know.
There we go. He's back. Here we go. We're gonna. How interesting is this? We're going to measure this live on air. The size.
That's one of those that you use when you're losing weight. Like the tape ones that wrap round.
Oh, it's 13 and 3/4 inches, which is in layman's terms 300 350 mil. It is 350 mil.
Why?
Length, width.
What's that?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There we go.
350 mil or 13 3/4 inches. That's exactly what it is.
And if,
Old money.
and if it's
Fair
any
old
good,
money, mate.
then tap up Steve on Instagram.
Yeah,
Probably the best
sure.
way, isn't it, Steve?
What is that Red Bull you've got there? A Monster or something? What are you drinking
What's
there?
he got?
Because I do need to vet this.
It's Tango, mate.
Oh, is it?
He's
Tango.
tangoed.
It's not diet though, is it? Full
You know what?
into that one.
You know what? Well, I've got, like I said, I'm picking my lad up from the train station. So he's on the train at some point. So they've got to shoot off, guys. That's the reason why. So I can't drink tonight. I'm on the
Well, no, it's
Tango.
just you're full of beans. You're full of beans. That's all. I was just trying to work out how much sugar you've
It's
had.
full of sugar.
Full of sugar.
I'm in a happy mood today, mate. I'm in a happy mood today.
Always happy. It's Friday. Absolutely, Steve.
Absolutely.
You always cheer me up on a Friday, don't you?
Absolutely. Right. I use a Jabeo return pumps, but have a spare for main and Fred tank so far. Yeah, it's good to have a backup.
Yeah.
J-Bo. I like J-Bo stuff.
Can't justify a £300 return pump. Fair comment.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
It is for return. There's a question here about, does your Jabeo stay constant speed? Mine fluctuates a little when they make adjust up and down the valve. Have you still got a Jabeo on your one, Steve, your return pump? Or did you replace it with something else?
I bought a new one, yeah, J-Bow, yeah. Well, what's it actually called now? It was the J-Bow, wasn't it?
Is it J-Cod?
He's
gone again. I don't ask him a question, he just goes.
Reefing aerobics here. He's up and down, up and down.
Here we go. J-Cod.
You can't see it because you've got the privacy screen on. Oh, I can see it there.
J-Cod, DC pump.
Yeah. That's not right.
You got your privacy.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Right.
DC 4000 J-Cod, yeah, Jake, yeah. You know what, guys? I swear to God, they're the only pumps I've ever had on my tank. The only pumps from the first one, obviously conked out not long ago. 5 months ago or something. Then you know what? I was gonna get a couple of well-known products, much higher price, much higher price.
Yeah.
However, stuck to that. 89 quid, mate. 89 quid.
You can't knock that, can you? And you've had good success with the J-Cods over the years, haven't you? Yeah.
Cheap as chips, mate. It's absolutely near silent and things, you know what I mean? They're spot on. You can't fault them. I can't fault them at all. So
many people have that brand, don't they? And they do really well.
Oh, mate. Really good.
I've got a wave maker that's that brand. I think it costs about 30 quid and it's been absolutely brilliant. And I've spilt water on the controller a number of times and it's still been fine. It's not broke or anything. Really good product.
They're great.
How cheap they are.
Absolutely. Harman's Reef joined the Reef factory family. Replaced the DD controller with the thermo controller and a pH sensor for the Couch journey. Weaning off the Red Sea Foundation. Yeah. Oh, KH Keeper next. So it sounds like you're going all in with the Reef factory.
He's been listening to your journey.
Nice.
He's going the same route.
Hey, you know what? Fair play to you. Fair play to you, mate. Yeah. I mean, you know what? You can't go wrong. You know what I mean? In a way, to be fair. So, 10 out of 10. Can't wait. Hopefully, all good.
So no, Ross hasn't left. We still speak to him.
Where is he? Where is he now? Come on, Ross. Where are you, mate?
So he's been busy, hasn't he?
Busy boy. He has been a busy boy,
He has been really busy, so he can't make it. So he will be back with us. I'm not too sure when, but he's otherwise engaged with stuff going. Good stuff going on, to be fair.
He's on his holidays, isn't he? We've given him holiday time.
He's on leave.
He's on holiday. He's on leave, yeah.
Unpaid, I hasten to add.
That's 350 in the UK.
Yeah, that's only.
You know, who would you say is the best 350 in the UK?
Wow. Hey, mate. I won't say that, mate.
Yes, it's full of sauce.
I won't say that.
I think that's a question. Isn't that your question there, Steve? I think.
Yeah, might be actually. Might be.
I reckon that's to you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And do you remember last week we talked about the SPS frag that was turning white from the bottom upwards, and we said, just frag it. And in about 20 minutes,
frag it, and he went and did it straight away.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And it's still going.
I was a bit nervous when he said he'd done it straight away, and I was like, "Oh God, I really hope he hasn't." I hope it works out for him. But that's brilliant news. That
Steve should have put the ticker tape, the disclaimer along the bottom. Anything we say, please don't do.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'll put that down on. You know when I can add them to the to the channel. You can add them to the stream, right? When it can go across the bottom, I'll put that. Anything said on this stream, take with a pinch of salt. That's what I put down on it.
Especially if it's reefing.
Yeah, reef salt.
Reefing related. Yeah. No, only joking. Yeah, no. So happy it's still live. So happy it's still live.
A great reefer from Colette.
Great.
Tank.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Colette. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. I do. You know what? I mean, like we said, we're all on this journey together, aren't we? You know, like we all like to help each other out and stuff, don't we? You know what I mean? And everything that goes. We all talk about like the good things, but things are bad in our tanks as well, aren't they? You know what I mean? Everybody always points out the good things, what happens and stuff. But listen, every reefer goes, no matter who you are, goes through a bad point. You know what I mean? Whether it be algae issues, cyano, or whatever. Like you said, we all just stayed in this little community and this live stream, what we do to help each other in it, you know what I mean, and give our points, you know what I mean, across what might work for us, you know what I mean, and if it can help somebody else, just like PJ Goblin there, frag it, cut it, because it might strip. If he didn't cut it, that might have stripped, you know what I mean. This week he might have come on and said it completely died, you know what I mean. So at the end of the day, I'm happy it's alive and perfect. Fingers crossed.
But fortunately enough, we're back on your channel next week, and he might come on and say it's died, in which case it's your fault. Fingers crossed it hasn't.
I'll make sure to write that thing out. Yeah, disclaimer.
I've heard a bit about this next one, but I haven't seen this. So this is Reef Bum. He shows he's burnt out his sump tank, which ruined his house. Electrical fault in the sump area.
What?
So I'm gonna have to find that video and have a look at it. I do
watch this all the time, but I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that either.
No, I'm going to search that one out.
I hope you're well, Ian, anyway. Hope you're well.
Absolutely.
And then we've got a comment from Ryan. Still got the corals that he got from you, Steve. Doing amazing.
Hey. What did he get from you, Steve?
Oh, he got a few things, mate. Yeah, he got a few things now. He got a piece of Balagini Slimer. What else now? Bloody hell! I've lost my mind now. No, he got a few bits.
What about
I can't remember. Oh, I gave I snapped him a piece of the Hollywood story. Yeah, as we all know. You know what? It's like you buy one, you get one. It's like you buy one and you get one free at my house. You know what I mean? That's what it is, mate. Let's choose whichever one you want.
You're always going away with some Hollywood stunner, aren't you? That's the thing.
Choose whichever one you want, and I'm pointing into the Hollywood stunner direction and all that. Yeah, that's what I like, mate. You know what I mean? But I mean, you know what? So happy that they're doing well, mate. You know what I mean? So fingers crossed. Everything's fine. But
and then you got Hayley talking about the state of her sump.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose.
Well, you're right, Jay. You do get some people with the sumps where I look in envy, mate. You know, like people look. Oh, that's a lovely tank, that. I'm like you. I look at some people's sumps and I go, I'd love my sump to be like that. I would love my sump to look like that. Yeah, how do you do that? And you totally get it, mate. You know what I mean? It does look nice when it's all done.
I do think some people make an effort to make the sump look nice with the cable tidies and all the dosing pumps are all like the same colours and stuff like that. The lines and stuff like that, aluminum.
Absolutely. It's brilliant. I love it.
Flash. It does look good. It does look good to me.
I couldn't do that. I just
I love it.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. But I'd rather fucking employ someone.
Oh, there we go. I've been struck.
What? Oh no!
I'd rather I'd rather employ somebody.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get a bleep button.
Oh my God! Oh, it's on your channel as well. Can't believe that.
There we go. They've just struck me off.
Sorry, mate.
Way too much tango. I don't know what's going on here.
If you've monetized me, I'll send you a check.
I'll stop you. Had way too much tango.
We move on. So Stefan, actually, this is before you asked the question.
Yeah.
So did you buy one or not, Joe? You didn't, did you? I don't think.
I haven't bought it because it was 350 quid, and I thought I need to see it before I buy it because it's it's a lot of money, that is, and I want to see it in the flesh and see how much it was, like the true colours of the picture. So I mean, I'd buy a coral probably like 80 quid and under without seeing it, but something that's like a few hundred quid. I think you've got to see it really to see what it looks like.
I think Stefan's bought things. Yeah. I mean, I know you used to obviously bought the chalice from from that place from Scott, and I think Stefan, when I spoke to him, he said he's bought other pieces from him, and it looked exactly as it did in the pictures.
I mean, Scott's got some incredible corals of steel. Tell you, he's got unreal collectible corals, and they're usually really healthy and stuff. But I just need to nip down because it's only about 25-30 miles away, but I do want one in the collection. So Stefan, did he say he's going to frag a few more or something? I think he said he's going to frag some more. So
yeah,
I'll have a look. But
but it looks amazing.
It's all about the gonnies, guys. All about the gonnies.
Absolutely. And then moving on, this is kind of moving back around using Velcro ties. They're easier to move if you need to maintain your kit. And I've got to say, Hates the Aquatic Reefing. He's got a fantastic tank that's a floating aquascape, and it's different to mine because I've cheated by using LPS and stuff like that. He's got loads of acros, and it looks really, and the Rockscape looks floating aquascape, even though I don't think it is. But have a look at how you see. It's a really good channel.
I watched his latest video on his on the ICP test results.
No, I haven't seen.
I watched it today.
Yeah,
really good, really interesting. Oh, beautiful, mate, beautiful.
He's following me, and I'm not following him back. I feel so good now, mate. I'm following you back, and I'll have a look at your channel, mate. I can't wait. Hey, floating aquascape. That's your biggest video, isn't it, Paul? By the way.
It's the one that's got the most thumbs down as well.
Is it?
I tell you what, so the messages I get.
They said that it'd fall off or something, and it's been on there.
So the message I get about why have you done that video is inaccurate. It will fall off. You shouldn't put videos like that out. And it could fall off tomorrow. But touch wood, it's now. I mean, that's my next video. I haven't even started yet on the floating aquascape because I've looked after it for the last 3 months. After went for a bit of a sticky patch, and I'm really happy with it. Really good. What I didn't realize when I took the photos and put on Instagram, how much space I've still got for coral. So it's a bit of a pain. So I now need to go and buy some more coral. But I'm really happy with it. And it's the first time in a year I've got nothing on the sand bed. I'll tell you what, it really makes it pop. So I'm really happy with how
smart tank that, mate. It's a smart tank that. I do like that one.
Yeah. I saw your latest video, and without anything on the sandbed, I just thought it looked so authentic and like a real reef. And my next tank will not have anything on the sandbed. I want a clean. It just looks so good. It looks, professional.
I think it makes the rest of it pop. So you can't really see it behind, but the fact that it's all white behind, I think it makes the aquascape stick out more. And of course, then if that's full of corals, which clearly it's not because it's only 5.5 months old, that will then, I think it brings out the corals more. Yeah. Whereas the DD900 is a total mess because I've still got some big colonies in there from the 450, so I can't tidy that one up. So that's just like almost a holding tank until I eventually get a bigger tank, and then it will go into there. So that's just where all my corals and fish I've kept for the bigger tank.
Does look stunning. HC Aquatics, by the way, your SBS looks unreal in that nano tank that it's got, or is it 170 or something? But God,
I'm not too sure what size tank it is, but
look, it's SBS looks really nice.
And then Hayley's saying, she's been saying for 8 years she's going to sort out her sump. And this is a fair point about having RCD plugs or just having plugs that prevent shock and other things like that, because I'm for sure. In one of the tanks I didn't have it, and I had a power cut, and then when I turned it on, the power cable blew on the Vectra, So I had to get a new power cable, and that was like 75 quid, which is like nuts for a new power cable. But if I'd had something on that extension lead, that probably would have prevented it. So that's a really fair point on.
I have all of them.
Now.
I have all of them on mine, regardless, mate. Oh, it's worth it. Like I said,
they're not expensive, are they?
Because it's on a little bit extra than a normal one, but you know what? Worth the wait and go, mate.
It's peanuts.
You
It's less than a DD controller.
Yeah, you must have them.
Like 20 quid or even less than that, depending on how many you get on a bar.
Absolutely, mate. It's a must.
Is that for power surges? Is that what
it's like power surge? That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Jason Fox, who's cold on the most colourful ultra high end, has minimal equipment, no controls, and is very successful. He's certainly bought a decent, good brand over the years. So he's in the States, isn't he?
His corals do look good when
Jason Fox.
The American shows, don't they? He always goes to them American shows, whatever, Aquashella or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And, he has stands there, and his corals look awesome, don't they?
There's a comment from Stefan Agoni doing really well. Slowly extending day by day.
Oh, mate, I'd love to see a little update of that.
Yeah, and because Stefan's got this tank as well. He's got the Peninsula. I haven't seen any pictures for it for a little while because he's put all gonies in it and everything.
Yeah.
Got some really nice corals in it, but I haven't seen any pics recently, Stefan. So send a couple of pics when you get a chance.
His coral collection's really good. It's got a lot of nice pieces.
Got some really nice torches as well. Got torches. Absolutely, and he's grown them out and fragged them and sells them on.
Does he?
Yeah. So I took my old V3 one to a glass cutting company, and they used my old baffles and cut me one for 12 quid. Fair enough. I've got the J-Cod 6000 on mine. Mine's a 6000. So there's a few people talking about the J-Cods here. Just trying to catch up. 12,000. Right. So I have a 5-stage RODI unit. After friendlies, my TDS is now 1. It was 0 before, but my inlet water has gone from 135 to 260. So 260 we're good for. Mine's about 350, 330 to 350. My in. So the higher the TDS, the more it's going to put a strain on the elements. You got the carbon, DI resin, that kind of stuff. So I would not be surprised if your TDS has doubled virtually. So I'm assuming. So what I do, as soon as it goes to 1, I change the DI resin, and it goes back to 0. So I suspect that's why, because the TDS has doubled almost.
Yeah. But I think you taught me that actually. You said if your TDS goes up, to 1 or 2, just change the DI resin.
As soon as it goes to 1, change the DI resin, and I must admit, I do change the carbon. And the other filter, which I can't remember the name of, I changed it every 3 to 6 months because I know the quality of the water going in is not the best. And to be fair, the other two, the carbon and the other one that is pretty cheap. Both of those people are under 10 quid, I think. So it doesn't cost that much. And of course, I'd rather invest the money there to get cleaner water.
Yeah.
So that's really cheap than having to sort something out after I put phosphate and all other kind of crap into the tank. And then another thing, the other thing I would put on a tank would be a calcium reactor. Yeah, fair point.
Well, you agree.
You don't see as many of them on.
You don't. I tell you the reason why. If you look at a calcium reactor, you go, oh my God, that is so complicated to run. So I run a calcium reactor in a frag tank. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 years. And it was really easy to run. I run it as if I was dosing. So on a calcium reactor, you can run it 2 ways. You can run it based on the pH probe. You set that at a level, and as it goes above a level, you then switch it off. Or I do it like dosing. So I run it for X number of hours a day. And therefore, when my alkalinity is going down, I then increase the amount of time the calcium reactor is actually working. And I found it worked really well. So it was almost like thinking how it's dosing, and it was really good. And over 2 or 3 years, I didn't spend any money because it was only it was about a 200-litre frag tank, so it wasn't very big. And I didn't have to change the media once. So if I think about in that time, I did no dosing whatsoever. I did the minor elements, but I didn't dose magnesium or calcium or alkalinity in that period of time. And it was a bubble Magus that I paid, I think, 100 quid for. And the CO2, I got 3 bottles of CO2 with it. So actually, other than electricity, it cost me zip to dose that tank. So from a cost effective, I couldn't beat it. But I'd recommend the calcium reactor.
I would 100%. I've read up a hell of a lot on in fact, I knew more about calcium reactors, how to dial them in, everything, rather than the calcosser, which is so easy. You know what I mean? I was more panicking about the calcosser than a calcium reactor. The only thing for me is just sheer space. That is the only thing for me.
They do take
is
up
the
some
space. Simple.
Space.
You know what I mean? They take up some room, mate, and that's that. Otherwise, if 100%, if I didn't have that cupboard at the side of my tank, I would buy a separate cupboard, a smaller one, but just predominantly for a calcium reactor to stick in it. I probably would do, mate. You know what I mean? In all fairness, that way, like I said, the amount of money that not only money, but it's like you won't need to change it out for every 6 months, once or 6 months, top it up. Sorry, for every 6 months or so, depending on the size of the chamber and stuff. Mate, there's no doubt in my mind that's what I would go with. But I mean, like I said, it's just space for me. That's the only thing.
And also, I set the tank up with the calcium reactor. So actually, when I knew the alkalinity, I started it off. I think I started like 10 minutes, and then I was increasing the amount of time that the CO2 was going into the chamber, which then releases that into the tank. So with Steve, you've got, you've been he's off again. You've been dosing like 350 ml. How do you then bring that down and bring the calcium reactor up? I was doing it from day one, so it's so easy to do it. But if I had a bigger tank, I'd have no problems if I had the room setting up a calcium reactor again, because I actually think, and when you speak to people talk about it as if it's a dark art. It's not. It's actually quite simple once you do your research. A bit like calc, you've done a lot of research in it, and then you think, oh, okay, it's not as complicated as you think. When I spoke to people, some people was actually trying to make it out as complicated. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, are you just trying to kind of give it the big one by saying this is complex, blah blah blah? And it's not
exactly. Yeah. It's not me. It's not, like I said, it's crushed dead skeletons of corals and stuff like that where you stick in a chamber. Yeah, you know what I mean? You lower it down, you know what I mean, to melt it, and then you just go through an affluent and put it into the tank on a drip or whatever you want to do it. It's simple. It's that simple, mate.
Stepper motor.
You know what I mean? But or the stepper motor, whichever one you can go with.
Running 23 hours a day, so it's going through the chamber.
Yeah,
and then obviously on a timer. I had the CO2, and then that was working, but it was pumping through 24 hours of the day just to keep it going. So the water was just pumping through, but obviously it wasn't releasing anything because it wasn't dissolving because the CO2 wasn't working.
Absolutely. I'm just plugging the laptop in, guys. That's all I'm doing.
I don't really know how it works, calcium reactor. Is it creating calcium carbonate to grow the corals? Is that what you
so it breaks down. So it breaks down. It breaks down the elements that you put in it, which are basically a coral skeletons. So people use that. Yeah. I had the one that had magnesium in it as well. So it dosed all the 3 main elements. So I didn't have to dose magnesium separate. So you can buy them with additional elements in there. So I thought if I got the 3 core elements going in, then that'd be fine. And then I could just dose. The only thing is, I didn't really notice it. It can take your pH down, but at that time I wasn't really fussed about pH. But it can take your pH down. That's I've heard. I don't know for a fact, but that's what I've heard on that side. But it's really good for bigger tanks because you see some of them, they're massive units that you can get, and it's really economical to run it that way. Then certainly better than. Sorry, not better. It's cheaper than 2-part dosing or 3-part, depending on what you.
So you'd only dose alkalinity if you had a calcium. You won't need to dose any of the other elements.
No, you won't need to do alk. So you won't dose.
No alk. Okay.
No. So depends on what media you get. I got the media that broke down all 3.
Right. Okay.
So it was obviously a manufactured one that had those elements in it, and when it dissolved, I don't know the science behind it, but I just knew that it dissolved all 3 of those. If I had a bit of an imbalance, then I would manually dose. Rather than trying to mess with the reactor, I would manually dose to to bring it up. If it was too high, I'd bring it down a little bit, and then if there was an imbalance, the way I'd sort the imbalance would be manually dosed to do it. Otherwise, trying to mess around and try to dial it back in was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So just thinking about I just put the CO2 on for a certain period of time every day, and then as the corals grew out, I increased that amount of time. So just like when you dose X amount of milliliters, and you increase it. So that's basically how I worked. You can. That's probably the lazy way, and people say that's not the proper way. And I get it because people use a pH probe and stuff like that. But I didn't do it that way. I didn't have a pH probe, and I thought I'd try that way out, and it worked for me. So it may not be the right way, because I know other people that do it different with a pH probe. But for me, it worked for the 2 or 3 years, and the corals grew really well. So that's all I can say on that one.
Thank you. I've learned
right. So open mic. Yes, we did say it was going to open open mic over Christmas.
Yeah, it's been ages.
I'll have to sort that out. Me or Steve will.
We need to mix it up a bit. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Fair point. Yeah. And then I'm about 25 minutes behind as usual. So Colette was talking about, I think when Steve was saying, good to share, people coming together on here.
Yeah, it's really good. I hope your torches are doing well as well. You've got some new torches in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I think this is when you swore to get the 2p piece.
Oh, sorry, John. I will do, mate. I will do.
The zoo's in the truck.
Hey, he's on the
road.
road.
To Wales, yeah.
Hey,
Wales.
Keep safe, mate. Keep safe. Keep safe.
Yeah. Cardiff or what? Real? I don't know where he's going.
Oh dear. And then Hayley said about I'm going for a bad patch, Lyle. I have no shops, zero that sell anything. I've done the shops within 20. Wow.
I don't. Where does she live? I don't know. Not that like prying or anything. It's just like. Like, it must be near Ross somewhere. Ross ain't got any shops near him.
No, he hasn't. With Nestle's layer closing down, I think he's got to go into Glasgow, which is quite a distance for that. So I think it depends what you mean by online shop. I know what online shop, but are you talking about for livestock, like for corals and that? Because if you're looking for the usual dry goods, and you've got a combination, you've got AAC, H2O, Charterhouse, Kraken. I'd use all those online. For corals, you've got Signature Frags. Definitely, they're good. I'm trying to think who else does online corals, and maybe someone else is putting
Future Frags. They do.
Yeah, Future Frags. Fair point.
Future Frags, yeah.
Don't know.
No.
Oh, Prestige Reef. He does.
Oh yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, Prestige Reef. Yeah, Prestige Reef. Yeah.
Get on Ultimate Reef. You've got loads of hobbyists selling corals on there. And to be fair, all the corals I've bought from people on Ultimate Reef, they've been good quality corals as well. And quite a few of them on there will sell through the post. So when you get pictures on Ultimate Reef, you get the pictures of obviously the corals. You have to post a picture of the mother colony, and you have to see a picture of the full tank as well, which is a bit of a pain. But if you're buying, at least you can hopefully see what's going on in the tank. So I would say it's pretty good. Question for you there, Steve. If you're dosing calc, have you tried hooking up a CO2 scrubber? Because you had a CO2 scrubber on your tank anyway, didn't you?
Got it. Yeah, I've still got it in, to be honest. Linked into me, but to be honest, I used that. I got that new media dinner, and with the greatest of respect, it's not very good. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's called Blue. I've forgotten the name. Was it Blue Dolphin or Blue Diamond or something? It was not very good. Not very good media. I didn't really see much to it. But on the other side though, since I've been dosing calc, mate, my pH is like rock steady at 8.15, 8.2. It never drops below that at all, and it goes like I said, 8.4. It's always like 8.35, 8.4 now. But I've got it linked obviously to me. What's it called now? My Neptune. I've got it linked to my Apex, where if it goes above 8.4, it shuts off. So I don't want it to go anything above 8.4. To be fair, I know some guys say like 8.6, 8.5, 8.6, and I reckon if I took that off the Apex and said 8.5, I reckon it would go to 8.5. I think it would go to 8.5, the pH on that. But I've just stuck at 8.4, and I've seen great growth already, mate. Because the amount of growth on the white tips on the coral is crazy. You know what I mean? And it's coming to the point now where I'm snapping, like I was scraping my scraper to clean the glass, and I was actually knocking the tips off the Miyagi Tor. You know what I mean? Because it's that close to the glass now. So I'm like, whoa, we're in a bit of an issue here. You know what I mean? And it's like literally, and then 2 days later, you'll clean the glass again, and you'll be hitting the tips. That's how fast it's growing, mate. You know what I mean? So it is super fast. So, and it's all down to that high pH. I think, in all fairness, I think it's got to have something to do with that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was struggling to get 7.95, 8. That's what I was getting. 7.95, 7.8. It was a nightmare, mate. But now, obviously, the corals are loving it, so I'm loving it.
That Holy Grail, Steve, that Holy Grail is huge in the bottom. And it just looks so healthy and happy, doesn't it? How many heads? It must be about 10 heads now, that looks like.
I look today, funny enough, funny you should say that. I looked cleaning the glass and stuff, and I looked and there's another 2 heads popped out, mate. Another 2 heads. 2 baby heads are growing out all the short. I think at the last count, I think on that now, I think there's 40. I think there's 14 heads on it now.
It's a lovely coral.
Nice.
14 heads.
Really well.
I'm not gonna cut it now. I'm not gonna frag it for at least 6 months now. Six to 8 months. I'm gonna leave it because my missus said I just want it to grow into one big colony. Let it grow into one big huge things. Yeah. And I thought, you know what, you're right there. I'm gonna let it grow into one big. See how many heads I get in say 8 months or so. And then if there's any that's being shaded, you know, like growing downwards and stuff, then I might give that a chop. You know what I mean? But I'm just gonna leave it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave it and let it grow.
Yeah, you've done
fair point. Talking about CO2 scrubber, I've had that in my shed for a while. I'm going to set that up on the 170 because I'm not going to put calc on that. But I was sorting out the shed the other day, thinking, that's where it is. So it's been sitting there for a while. So I'm going to get that set up. Hopefully,
you like doing this, don't you, Paul? You like buying stuff and not putting it on your tanks, don't you? You know what I
mean? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
So I've had that for ages. But there we go. I'll get around to it.
What was the other one? That was a cage keeper as well, wasn't it? His wife bought
a cage keeper as well, yeah.
And he didn't have it on. I don't think he's actually put that on ever.
No, I haven't.
I don't think he put it on.
I haven't. It's sitting there. It's on the wall.
It's brand new.
No. It's on the wall.
Oh, mate.
And it's just not. It's not running. No,
I haven't switched it on yet.
Mate. What's going on, mate? Come on.
When you like, she bought you these gifts and you don't use them.
I know. I got a tank down the shed. I got some power heads. I got a whole brand new.
Where's the shed? Where do you live? Where's the shed?
Well, it's in the garden.
It's got loads of reefing gear. It sounds quite good to me.
His shed's in his garage, mate. His shed's in his garage.
That's different.
The garage.
The garage and
the garage.
Right.
I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
Where are we? Stella Marine being suggested there, so that was a little bit early. So
Stella Marine, yeah.
Great for inverts posted. Really good.
Yes.
For, you need some snails or anything like that. They're really good for that.
So HC Aquatics, no problem. You've got a great channel, and we'll promote anyone that we think we come across, and we do it every so often, don't we? Have channels we've seen, people have seen, tanks we've seen.
Sure.
To be fair, that's probably the only time I've got loads of grief when I've done the floating aquascape. To be fair, other than that, I don't get anything, and if I do, just ignore it. Just take it as a compliment.
You're gonna have a
have you? I mean, I've got to admit though, in all fairness, I've had some grief over my tank. You know, like people like private messaging me, But you know what? I find it great. You know what? I find it great. Yeah. Mate, I have to show you messages. They send me saying, who do you think you are? That was the best one. Who do I think? So I just put, I'm Steve Morgan and I'm a bus driver. You know what I mean? I thought, well, so it's like, you know, like that. But and I just thought, like, calm down now. These things, people just want to, they just do it just out of jealousy, I think, half the time. You know what I mean? And yet you try to help people out. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. You're always going to get it, mate. I get it all the time.
Jay gets, where's Ross?
I get that all the time. People on my videos go, hey, Jay, where's Ross? And I'm like, well, you don't want to watch my videos. You're just bothered where Ross is. It does my head in, honest to God. Like, where's Ross? And then I have to message Ross and say, Ross, speak to your fans because I bug him the hell out of me. Go and talk to him. Chat to him.
Seeing fans.
It's funny, but to be fair, if you put yourself on social media, it's part and parcel.
Yeah. It comes with the territory, doesn't it?
So,
if you're going to put yourself above
for sure.
Come off social media.
Absolutely. Not saying it's
I
right.
love it, mate. I love it.
Put yourself in the
we don't agree with it, but it's something you just accept.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of the people some of the stuff that's been sent, and you've gone back.
Who do you think you are? One of them said. I don't even know what it was about, mate. To be fair, yeah. And then I just put like a sarcastic comment, back, yeah. And they never replied back to me. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
In that last video, I thought you were Ratatouille because they're in the kitchen. That's what I thought, but cooking up Delia Smith. That's what you look like.
There's a few comments here about.
I'm preparing the next food, mate.
There's a few comments about
the next food for the fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Next update, Signature Frag. I think it's March, April time. I think, but I don't own me to that. I can ask for you. I'll try and find out for you next week, mate. But
yeah, I know. And when
it's April.
Obviously, I was there at Signature Frank's.
Yeah, you heard it, didn't you?
With you, and I think he was growing some stuff out, making some adjustments and those kind of things. And I think he actually was. He was going to do some fragging pretty soon, but of course, most of the stuff he does, he lets them base out and adjust and everything else before he puts on the website. But yeah, I would definitely, I'd recommend him. I mean, his stuff was great.
How's yours doing anyway that you got? How's yours doing?
The two pieces, fine. The Alveopora looks fantastic. It was such a simple colour, really a light kind of minty green.
Do you fancy an Alveopora?
It's just brilliant. So I might get a couple more of the Alveopora. Just because I think they're really nice. I'm not saying anything against Goniopora. They're easier than Goniopora to look after. That one's growing really quick as well. So it's a good step into the toe into the water whether you're looking at Alveopora or Goniopora. So yeah, it looks really healthy.
Why do I look so
looks
yellow?
really nice. What'd you say?
Why do I look so yellow?
You got jaundice.
What the hell's going on? Oh, it looks so bloody yellow all the time.
Right, while you're adjusting the light,
Anyway,
I'll move on.
Leave it.
So there's John saying, love to go, but he lives in Skeggy.
Fuck, it was Bart Simpson.
As long as you don't say Homer.
Dude, why do I look so yellow all the time? I don't know what's going on.
Bart Simpson, mate.
Oh, ill. I've got like an illness. I'm worried about myself now, man. Do you look like Bart Simpson, don't I?
So we've gone from signature frags to all of a sudden I look yellow like Bart Simpson.
No, that's him. He said I like Bart Simpson. To be fair, he's not far wrong, is he? It's because I want that, that Pikachu Coral or whatever it was. That's what it was. Cheers. That's going to be the latest one. Forget the air net.
Stick your arms up. Stick your arms like that. You look like my Pikachu, mate.
He has. He's got yellow arms as well. You've been to the doctor, Jay?
No, I think it's because
he's sat in front of like one of those glow lights. One of those glow lights that YouTubers have.
I've got a ring light, yeah. But
it might be that, mate. It might be that.
Look, no, because if I change it, look at that.
Jeez, stop. We'll turn it back.
He now looks like David Dickinson.
Get your glasses out. Oh, damn. I don't know what the hell's going on, mate, but thanks for that.
Yeah. You know, next week when you come on my live stream, you got Jay's Real Reef. I want you to have a couple of others. I want you to have a couple of others above it, like David Dickinson, Bart Simpson, so we can put a poll out to see which one we want you to go like.
I know. I go, all these Bonnie Poras are real Bobby Dazzlers. Bobby Dazzler.
Yeah, Bobby Dazzlers, mate.
Bobby
I love it. Bobby Dazzler. Love it.
Oh my God. I just don't know if my kidneys are working anymore. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh, that's gone somewhere I wasn't expecting.
Anyway, let's chat about reefing.
Right. Okay. So we've got another hint about micro bubbles. So, yes, this was a little bit of a craze, wasn't it? A lot of people did this for Aaron's aquarium. So he used to do this, didn't he? In his tank, micro bubbles overnight. Do you do it? I used to do it many years ago. But I haven't done it.
I've got to admit, mate, I do still do it, but I still do it on the SPS. Yeah, and you take the pump, you just take the pump head out, just rest it on the top of the surface, and just give it a bit of a blast. Yeah, I do. Just gets tons of micro bubbles going in the water, and it does clear. It does clear. Ain't got any uneaten food or anything lying between it for sure. Just put it on full blast for like what, 2 minutes, a minute or so, and just let it blast and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's good.
Yeah, the only time I do it is when I forget to fill up the ATO and you get the bubbles that come through for a couple of hours. That does exactly the same thing. Not that I would recommend that. By the way, don't do it.
Yeah,
but, that's another way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So does anyone apart from
my missus has got to pick you up. This is my eldest.
Hey, mate, you all right?
Young baby. I know.
He's been looking forward to seeing. He's been looking forward to seeing you so much, mate. He's been looking forward to it. He's been talking about it. Nice one.
So my missus has got to pick you up. I was going to pick you up, but she picked you up.
Basically.
You with hair.
That's exactly what I look like, mate. Yeah, better looking than me, mate. He's got hair. I've not got no hair. That's it.
Oh, brilliant. So it looks like you've got a nice weekend there planned, Steve, with the family.
Yeah, it'd be good, mate. Yeah, look forward to it.
So there's a question there about, does anyone dose bacteria to the tank more than 1 year old? So I on this one I'm dosing the Zeobac, but I do dose the Zeobac to the other tanks as well. So from time to time I do put bacteria into it. I know you put, what one do you put? You put a Dr. Tim's in every.
Yeah, I dose bacteria probably at least once a week.
But what one do you do? It's not the one and only, because that's the startup one. What do you do?
The Eco Balance. Should I get it out of the cupboard or?
Yeah,
Eco Balance. But I use one cap. I do it after every water change.
Yeah.
When I do a water change, I blast the rocks off, clean the glass, turn the sandbed over, and I'm going to kill bacteria. It's going to come out of my water change because I'm blasting everything. So then I put a cap of that in. Eco Balance.
Eco Balance.
Go full screen.
I swear by that stuff.
Spot on, mate. Spot on that one.
Do you use that? Steve, do you use that?
No, I use Microbat 7. I use right wells.
I've heard that one as well. They have a really good reputation on that one.
Yeah. I've always used that. The only one that I never really I started was I used the Dr. Tim's, the original one, to kickstart my tank and stuff like that. Yeah, the one and only. I use that one, but then after that, all I've ever used then is the Microbat 7 Brightwells. Brilliant, mate. I just put literally, I think it's a cap full once. I mean, one day I will do a video. I know we'll do what?
How often?
Every twice a week. I put it on. So every 3 days. Yeah. But I just little tiny cap full of that twice a week. Yeah, that's what I'll do. But what I know when I come on these live streams and I come on and people say, what do you dose? How do you dose? What times do you do? One video which I've never really done is like laying out everything and put everything out on the table and then said like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and tell people what I'd actually dosed. You know what I mean? I think that would be interesting because the amount of messages I get. What do you do? Yeah, but what do you do for this? And I'm like, I've not said it, but I haven't said anything. So I will do one of those videos.
So Steve, like you could have Craig David playing in the background from Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Next time you do that video, I'm going to message say, "Who do you think you are?"
Or where's Ross?
Where's Ross? No, Dave. We're not having that. Where's Ross? No way.
Mate.
Have a live stream as well. Someone else's message. Where's Ross?
You know what we should do? We should put an air tag, one of those Apple air tags on Ross and say, "Where's Ross?" Well, he's actually so-and-so.
Yeah. I need to tag him.
Dear, right. A couple more comments. Where are we? So calcium reactors not hard to set up, and your pH does go down. And then one here about calcium reactors versus calc with doser, more precise. Too much liquid, use vinegar to allow concentration. Calc, fair comment.
Absolutely.
Dr. Tim's one and only. I dose one cap after every water change. My nano is about 3 months old. Yeah.
I swear by those bacteria. I mean, it's had no side effect to my tank. And
well, it's bacteria, so it shouldn't do that. But it's a fair point. It does help.
I think it does help with the natural health of the reef, definitely.
Yeah, and then you got
sure.
This won't be a surprise when he got Cole's in a new house. He's going to get a new tank, and he's going to have a new. He's had more new. I tell you what, I think he's had more new YouTube channels than Reef Dork has had likes.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the hobby 2 years, and I'd guess he's had easily 10 to 15 tanks, something like that.
Yeah.
He's an addict for tanks, isn't he? Basically, he loves
the tank.
I think he just enjoys the process of setting them all up. I think that's what he likes about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Definitely into it. 5 foot peninsula. That's a dream tank.
That'd be lovely. Yeah. I mean, this is nice, and that's only 2 foot front to back.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Yeah, and don't get the peninsula and put it against the wall. I think that's such a waste. If you get a peninsula, put it as it should be a peninsula. That's just my.
Totally agree.
Right, some others there about Brightwell Clean.
They should make it 3 foot peninsula, but we said that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, that would look. If I think about that, just sticking out another foot, the aquascape and everything you can put on that, and it's a manageable size. And manageable probably from electricity and everything else. And
I don't know why no one's not done it, but a 3 foot peninsula.
I think Waterbox did. I thought Waterbox did, but you don't really see it.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, right. There you go. So you've got Aquarian, something about Abyss in Stockport, do online fish, clean up crew. If you could do a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated.
Oh yeah, definitely, guys. Come on.
KH is the king. Flow. KH allows coals to build their walls. Yeah, grow faster. Light. It's not so important. Funny. We're all going back 20 years with dirty tanks and calc and metal halides. Well, they are the best. Yeah.
Hey, it's like my tank. Sounds a bit like my tank. That, according to Jay, dirty tanks. Dirty tanks sounds like mine. Hey, fingers crossed, mate.
Absolutely. And then we get the usual weekly question about the reef brights.
I said it a couple of weeks now. I really like them. I don't like looking at the tank without them now, because it does what it says on the light. It brightens up the reef, brings the colour out. The corals look 10 times better. There's a bit more growth as well from the ones at the top. Me SPS on the top. Absolutely love them. And because I've got that, you can tilt it. You get much more even spread, and then I've got it tilting at the front, tilting at the back. Honest to God, I won't be without them now. So really, really chuffed to bits with them. My wife's done good there buying me them. I'm really happy. So thanks for asking, Tom. Appreciate that, mate.
Okay, hope it's answered the question. I'm recirculating my CO2 scrubber and dose calc and getting amazing colour on growth. Fair point. So Steve's using the CO2 scrubber and he's using calc as well, so he's doing both. But obviously from his pH, he's topping it out 8.4. So there's another one there, Steve, just using economical reefing, using the CO2 scrubber and dosing calc at the same time, like yourself.
I don't know why.
Be interesting to know. Be interesting to know, like what his pH is sitting at. Then you know what I mean. What's he running his pH at? Obviously, it must be higher than 8.4 that I'm running at. I mean, I've read up 8.6. Some people run as 8.6, see incredible growth and stuff like that. Well, then when we look at like certain things in the ocean, the actual ocean, certain seas and all that, certain parts of the ocean only running like 8.2, mate. You know what I mean? 8.1, 8.2. So, certain parts. So, I mean, I think on average, the way they look at it like 8.3, 8.4. That's what they're saying in over the whole ocean on average in it, But so that's why really I just tended to stay with 8.4, the maximum. And my tank goes to 8.4. In fact, let me see what it's actually sitting at now on my phone. And I'll be able to tell you exactly what it's running at. It's good word, is it? Oh no. Oh, there we go.
So now it's broke, Steve.
He's turned it all off.
Mate.
Don't say it's broke. It hasn't broken.
No. So now at this time, so it's 5 to 10. It's sitting at 8.17 at 5 to 10, and our house is full now. So we've got 5 people in there, a big dog and everything, mate. So 8.17, you know what I mean? So that's pretty good. It'll go to about 8.1, you know, back when, you know, in the night. And then when we go to bed, it seems to rise up. I don't know why, but yeah.
No, so what are you going to do, Steve? When the stream is finished, you're going to kick anyone into the garden or out the room.
He's going outside.
Me pH.
Yeah, the garage like you, mate. They'll be all in the garage. They'll keep warm in there. But I haven't. So, yeah.
They're all huddled around the tank because it's so warm from the tank.
Yeah.
We've had a few comments around where's Steve gone again.
He's got what? He's got a
Batman.
Steve the Batman, no chance. Oh my God, I remember that song.
There's a medical.
I need to get a new light in here.
Yeah,
I am actually worried about my own health.
Well, you look more yellow because the tank's white.
Yeah.
Now you're blue and yellow.
I think it's the blue light.
You got one side blue and one side yellow. That's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not working well, is it?
We're nearly...
That's what by economical reefer there, PO4 or NO3 dosing, and all obviously the solutions that you can put, you know, to put. I've never done anything like that. Have you?
No, I never.
I've always had enough in my tank, you know, to do it. But I know certain people run their tanks like not you know, on purpose, where they can't raise the tank, they can't raise it up, you know, the nutrients and stuff. So they have to dose it, don't they? But I've never done anything.
I've dosed it.
Have you?
Yeah, when my nutrients crashed, I dosed some.
Oh yeah,
I've got it in the cupboard. Yeah, I dosed some. I've got.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't. It's not. It's not a dosing line. It's just I'll chuck a cap full of nitrate in sometimes if it goes low. Because mine sometimes does.
Right.
But it's
hey Jade, that's what I wanted to ask you. Do you still use that medical mud?
Yes, mate.
Thing?
Oh my. Yeah,
you still use it?
No, I've used it. I've used it a couple of times.
You know what? I'm so thinking that you know what? It's something I want to try. I was only thinking about that the other day, actually.
That's the phosphate one.
Wait a minute, let me put on.
Yeah.
Coral Essentials phosphate.
Oh right. Yeah.
So I don't know which one. I've got nearly a full bottle still of that.
So what nitrate one do you use?
One is that nitrate.
The Reef's Elements.
And I probably end up using a capful every, well, not a capful, but like 10 mil every few months.
Yeah.
Just drop down.
Yeah.
Mate, the mud is unreal. That's what you need. I've got loads here, Steve. You can have some. Look at this.
You know what? I definitely want to try. Is there like a use by date on that sort of thing?
What? What are you on about?
Not on the mud. Well, I want to find
use by date on mud in the wild. Don't think so. Jesus.
Yeah, it can dry out though, can't it? If you don't keep
it can dry out.
That's bigger than his tank.
I know. Yeah, look.
You know what? I'm gonna come to your house because I want to see your tank in person, and I'm gonna get a back off it, mate.
Honest to God, right? And Paul vouched for me.
Some.
I think Christian sweared by. He said like you can do what you want. That mud stuff is amazing. Honestly.
Yeah.
And Scott, you know Scott from Future Frags?
That's isn't it? Yeah.
He was like, you know, with the Charleston stuff, that's what he said. He said, dose a bit of mud.
What is it, just once a week?
Once a week, just put it in your RO water or mix it with a bit of your salt water.
A little pot.
Yeah.
Just before you go to bed, chuck it in. It'll go all murky, mate. Next day, everything's crystal clear. And then your corals just look, you know, like they've been fed, basically.
You know what? I'm going to try that. I keep saying, but I'm going to try that.
100% natural. For LPS, I don't know about SPS and stuff like that, but for LPS, mate, they love it. They absolutely love it. And in the wild, the reefs naturally,
moving about. Yeah,
they got all the elements.
Mangrove mud.
Well, SPS, the majority of their polyps are all out. Yeah. In the evening, all my polyps on my SPS, they're all like literally. They look absolutely huge. They're out more in the evening than they are.
They all come out. The chalices come out. The scollies come out. Feeding time. So to put that mud in, I must admit, it's one of those things. I keep forgetting to dose it. So I'm used to some manual dosing. But you're right. I should do it across all 3 tanks on a certain night. Bang, and just do it at night. Of course, then all the corals will come out and feed. To your point,
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, Jay.
The time to do it is when your tank's looking like it's struggling as well. You know, if it's struggling with nutrients or struggling with, you know, it just doesn't look like it's running well. Put a little bit of mud in, mate, and it just bounces straight back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try it, Jay. I'm gonna grab a little bit off you, and then if it's if it looks good in the tank,
little pea-sized
amount. I'm gonna buy some. I'll buy some in the end, then if it looks good.
So last 2 comments before we go. So there's the answer on the pH, 8.36 to 8.4. So very similar to yours. And Stefan's asking about the Miracle Mud. Where'd you get it, Jay? So
I got it from where you got your coral from, mate. Future Frags. That's where I got it from. Ask Scott. Scott got me it.
Cool. There we go. We are out of time. Thank you very much, gents, for joining us this evening, and thank you for everyone who's watching. All the comments, absolutely fantastic.
One thing I want to mention, guys. Yeah, tune in next week. It's going to be on my live stream. Yes. Yeah, and we've got a giveaway. So tune in next week. Giveaway.
Ooh.
Nothing massive, but it's going to help your tank for sure. That's all I'm going to say.
ATO.
Yeah, it's a Tunza ATO without the sensor. How about that?
And on that note, we'll love you and leave you. Have a great reefing weekend, and we'll see you on Steve's channel next Friday.
Next week. Take care, guys. Enjoy.